My friends, I come to you today fighting the worst sinus infection of my entire life to have an important discussion on book choice. So if you'll excuse me while I drink down my throat coat tea, that will hopefully solve all of my vocal problems. Hopefully you have a beverage of your own. Let's have a quick discussion about how we as readers and book lovers are choosing our books and how algorithmic content may be exercising undue influence on that process, and why I think that is a little bit of an issue. So if you've been following this channel since it started in February, I began a process of reading in an attempt to de-algorithmize my thinking and my leisure time. I had found that through the year of 2024, through circumstances, some of my own making, some of life circumstance, becoming a new parent, changing careers, I was entertaining myself to the point of brain seepage through algorithmic content. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. These 30-second bite-sized videos that were causing me to shut down, basically. My critical thinking was becoming less. I found myself having a harder time concentrating on longer form content. Found myself having a harder time concentrating on conversations with real live human beings. I found myself having a hard time concentrating on 10-minute YouTube videos in comparison to their 30-second YouTube short counterparts. Needless to say, I was in a rough spot. So the decision was made by me. That was very passive language. My English teacher would not be happy about that. I made the decision to go on a quest to build myself a project in 2025 to read 100 books. I have read 154 books, and that has been an incredibly fulfilling process throughout this year. I have had a ton of fun, not just rebuilding my love of reading, but engaging with this audience, engaging with my wife a lot more about the books that we are reading together, or books that we have read in the past that we have reread. It has just been an incredibly fruitful project, and I'm excited to continue reading next year and many years beyond. And as I turn my attention to 2026, I'm a big goal setter. I love to build myself projects. I love to build myself syllabi. So one thing that I want to do next year is build syllabi for each month. So January is going to be a very special project that I cannot wait to announce to all of you fine folks. And we'll go from there. Hopefully we're going to hit a specific history month. We're going to hit a different genre month. I'm excited to build more core syllabi about the books that I'm reading. The reason that I want to do these syllabi and to have more of a structured reading plan is I found myself wading back into the mire of algorithmic content to find books. I think that Book Talk and BookTube and all of these spaces where people can earnestly discuss their passion for literature and reading have been an overall plus on the internet community. However, there is a bit of an echo chamber with these spaces because of algorithms. Based on the algorithm, if somebody reads a book that a lot of people seem to want to know about, so they click on that video or they watch that short or they watch that TikTok, the algorithm then says, wow, this content specifically is going to provide users with entertainment. So we're going to push it more. Then that one individual then gets cannibalized by everybody else around them. So other people start making the same or similar videos about the same or similar books. And then it just becomes this never-ending Ouroboros snake eating its tail of we only read 10 books in this community and we never really branch out into different genres, different styles of writing, nonfiction, fiction. And I think that is doing a little bit of a disservice, not only to the creators and the readers, but also to the audience. So one of the main overarching goals that I would like to have in 2026 as I'm choosing books is to not let algorithms pick what I'm going to read. And I'm going to talk through a couple ways that I'm hoping to do that. And hopefully you can be inspired to maybe pick this up as well. If you are fine living in your algorithm world, there is no problem with that. If you want to read the books that your favorite creators are reading, I have no issue with that. For me personally, it was becoming a problem, and I would like to address that problem. And hopefully there are a couple of you that would like to come on this journey and can find some actionable advice. So tip and tactic number one that I'm going to be using, maybe a bit blunt, but it's going to be walking into physical bookstores and choosing books. I know, what a foreign concept in the world in which we live, where you can get everything delivered to you with the click of a button. And I think that that has its merits. There are definitely more niche books that I cannot find in the brick and mortar bookstores that I go to. I do frequent Barnes & Noble, but I also have a couple of used bookstores here in the area that I live that I like to go check in on every now and again, sometimes just to walk around. I'm a sap, I'm a softie. I love just the feeling of being in a bookstore. So what I want to try to do is fight against my baser instincts and actually try to have a conversation with some of these people who work in these establishments. I know, terrifying. Who wants to talk to anybody? I get you. I can be incredibly antisocial at times, and I want to try to work my way out of that. So I may enter into a bookstore and ask, hey, what do you recommend? I like these types of books in these types of genres. What do you recommend? And hopefully I will get a good recommendation, and a new avenue of books and literature will be open to me, something that I would not have engaged in. Specifically, for me personally, I have a bit of a blind spot when it comes to female authors. Not for any particular reason. I have just always read, I think probably 80-20, maybe 70-30 male to female. So I want to do a lot more intentional work exposing myself to female authors. So hopefully I'll be able to ask, hey, what are some of the best, or what are some of the female works, the works by female authors that you have enjoyed? Do you have any recommendations for me? And hopefully that bears fruit. There's no guarantees with any of this, but there's no guarantees in life. I could be given some duds, and that's fine. I will have still gained experience. I will have still gained, hopefully, an enjoyable conversation with another human being in this world. And hopefully then I will be able to fine tune my areas of questioning so that I can find books that are more my speed and something that I may enjoy. But I find that a lot of people read specifically for enjoyment, and I think that that's totally fine. For me personally, I do read for enjoyment, but I also read to broaden my horizons, to be exposed to other ways of thinking. And I find that if I keep living in my echo chamber, I'm not really reading for that purpose. So I want to mix in some of these books where I am taking perspectives that I don't have, different perspectives of life. That is some of the power of literature can be found in the way that it is an opening of a door into a new world from a perspective that you have not lived in. I find that to be an incredibly powerful tool that we can find in books. So I want to engage with that a bit more. Another thing that I really liked doing earlier in the year that I have kind of fallen off of is I used to do this thing called judge a book by its cover. And I've posted a couple of those on this channel, but I used to just walk into a bookstore and find a cover and a back cover and one page in the middle of the book and see if I vibed with it, if it piqued my interest, if there was something about it that sounded interesting. And I have actually come across, I think I did 4 or 5 of those posts where I just went in, grabbed a book, read the back cover, liked the cover art, and picked it. And I think I was 3 out of 5 in terms of books that I liked from doing that process. And the other 2 weren't bad. They just weren't really my speed. So I don't know. I think maybe honoring some of the work that some of the artists are doing with cover art, or maybe the blurbs on the back, the marketing team, let's give them a little bit of love, or let's just see, can you get a vibe and a feel from a snapshot, just one page in the middle somewhere of a book? Can that open an avenue to a new piece of literature for you? I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun. I like having, this feeling of maybe it'll be a dud. Maybe you will not enjoy the book, but coming across something that feels incredibly new to you personally, and something that just, there's no better feeling than running into a great book that you had no basis of understanding of, something that you just went into blind. I love that. I know that that's not for everybody. There are people that want to know that their time investment is going to be well utilized. Reading is hard, reading is difficult, especially in a world where we have so many other distractions. So I totally understand the feeling of wanting to either know the tropes, know the general story structure, reading authors that you already enjoy. I totally understand that, but for me personally, I want to engage more with some of this lottery style, just picking random books, because I just love the feeling of, for every 5 bad books, you come across one that you may love that may change your life. And that for me is worth it, that trade-off. But I totally understand if it isn't worth it for you. Thanks for sticking with me so far, folks. If you're still watching the video, go ahead and subscribe. We've got so many exciting things coming for the rest of this year and then in 2026. I'm so excited to continue to read and to read with my audience. So go ahead and subscribe so you can be up to date on all of that stuff. The last thing that I'm going to do in 2026 to try and broaden my reading horizons is to become more of a completionist with authors that I enjoy. So I do this with film. I love to do this with film. I will find, maybe exposed to a director's work through one movie that I really, really enjoy, and then I will go back to the beginning and I will try to watch everything in their filmography from when they started to their most recent work. The reason I do that is I love to see the evolution of an artist. This is a lot harder with books because the time commitment is a ton more, but there are few authors that I really love that I have come across this year, specifically Thomas Pynchon, Murakami, Cormac McCarthy, just 3 to name a few, of where I've read maybe 3 or 4 of their works and I feel that I am able to engage. I like their work enough that I'm able to engage with everything that they have written. So I have already started on my Pynchon quest. I'm probably 5 books into the Murakami bibliography, and I think I have maybe 4 or 5 Cormac McCarthy books left. So I'm excited. Those may be theme months in the upcoming year, but I would encourage you to find authors that you enjoy, and if you've just read 1 or 2 of their works, maybe going back to the beginning, or you don't even have to do that, just picking up another one of their works and re-engaging with their stuff. I'm asking myself, why, if I enjoy this person's writing, why did I never go back to the well? Why did I never try any of their other works? Maybe it was just a one-off, and that's totally fine. You may find that that one book was perfect for your sensibilities and that your sensibilities and the author's sensibilities matched, and then the other books that they write really don't do anything for you. That's totally fine. That's a valuable experiment in and of itself. But it may be that you find that you love everything that this author has written, and then you engage deeper and deeper in the author's work. I find that that's an incredible part of the reading journey as well. So something that I have been doing, obviously, is just going back to the beginning, but you don't have to go back to the beginning. But I like to see that evolution as a writer. I like to see the different themes that are woven throughout an entire writer's bibliography, their entire career. I'm a completionist. I have a touch of OCD in that way, a touch of compulsion to have to own and have to engage with all of the works of an author that I like. Maybe you're not exactly as compulsive as I am with that, but if you are, welcome to the club. Just a quick note on the most powerful tool that you have to not be algorithmically based in your reading, and that is your local library. I oftentimes will neglect this because I have not been a huge proponent of my library in the past. My wife is a big library person, so we balance ourselves out with that. There's something about the collector in me that likes to own these pieces of work that have influenced me, and so I have been remiss in not mentioning the library earlier in this video, but I think that your local library most likely will have not only a great selection of books, but the librarians are probably very well versed in anything and everything relating to books. That's why they're librarians in the first place. So go, and again, like we talked about with the bookshop, the bookstore clerks, go and have a conversation. I think it would be powerful. I know that it's difficult. I understand. I have a tendency to be a recluse, to be a little mole in my little hole and not ever leave my house. But I have found such value in these conversations, and this is a great way to have a conversation, but a face-to-face human interaction about pieces of literature, about books, can unlock those pieces of literature in a way that just reading it yourself may not. So just a quick note on libraries. I hope to engage in my local library a little bit more as I bring my child to the library, as I begin to introduce her to the world of books, and hopefully the library will be a big part of that. Okay, folks, that's the end of me rambling. I have coughed 1,000 times in this video. Hopefully I have done a good job of editing those out. That is my plan for the anti-algorithmic project of 2026. I hope maybe that I have inspired you. if you want to continue with the algorithms, I do not think that there's anything inherently wrong with that. I just wanted to make this video to kind of discuss breaking out of that mold and seeing if you can broaden your horizons a little bit. For me, that's what reading is all about. I understand if you have another perspective, that's totally fine. I would love to hear that other perspective down in the comments. Let's get a dialogue going about why you read, and if you love algorithmic-based reading, why you love it. I hope you're reading something very, very good, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully a little bit healthier.